Hi everyone. Well, I did both of the 32 by 32s. They're quite different, and I really can't decide which one I like better. But I have to tell you, I have so much paint left over, and it's good in one way because I wanted to do and need to do a series of monochromatics. So yeah, that's really cool. However, those big boards are taking up so much space that I don't really have any more room to speak of. So I'm going to do this one, and then I'm like out of room, I'm afraid. So this is a 12 by 24, and I do have one more. It's like a, what do you call it? A cement trough that you mix cement in, and if I could find a place to put it, I could pour in that. But then I'm like out of space unless I go to the garage until these big boards are dry. And I have so much paint. So I just want to have a little bit of fun to finish out my day, because I did have fun doing the big ones, but it was a little stressful. So now we just can have a little fun. The paints that I'm using are all Grumbacher, but, well, there is a little bit of Artist Loft. Nope, there isn't. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of Golden. But all of these, again, you know, they're sort of my hand mixed paints, which is why I made so darn much of it, because I knew I'd never be able to replicate it again. So I wanted to make sure I didn't run out. Oh, problem solved. No worries about that, my friends. So I'm just doing pour, and I'm adding some of this really cool green, and I had two blues that I did. This really was supposed to be, it would be nice if I could actually show you. So this was supposed to be a gray that I wanted just a touch of blue in, and I overblew the blue. So I set that one aside. I actually didn't use it all, but it is pretty. So I threw a little bit of that in this one. And that's really it. I probably did way too much paint because I'm kind of paint drunk right now. I'm looking at all these paints and know they need to get used up, but I think I was just silly in how much paint I put in here. But we'll find out in just a moment. Alright, doing a flip here, a dirty pour, and then I'm going to pour around it. I actually might not have given myself enough paint. And the thing you got to remember that I keep forgetting, because I forget things so easily with some of these neurological issues I have with my Lyme disease, forgetfulness, short-term memory, oh boy, it's really a kicker. So I do a lot of dumb things throughout the course of a day, and I forget a lot of things. Like, I forgot what I was just going to say to you. Fortunately, I remembered. One thing you want to remember when you are not using your paints up all the way is to check them for consistency. They will thicken up on you, and some thicken more than others. And remember that after you put in your whatever you use for silicone or dimethicone, it always thickens up. So you want to check it right before you put that silicone in, because you don't want to overmix it. Once the silicone's in there, you'll only get really small cells if you overmix. And then try not to let it sit there too much. So I'm using a kind of a cheap panel here, not a panel, but a canvas, and it's really bowing. I should have sprayed it and dried it to tighten it up a little bit, so that's unfortunate. Of course, I'm pushing quite hard too, because I don't want the paint to come out, so that's probably not helping anything. Just putting a hole in it to relieve some of the suction. And then we're going to have a little fun. I'd like, oh, I can see there's a little bit coming out now. Oh, and it's moving. That's so fun. It has a life of its own. Let's just let it go for a second. See this? Can you see that coming out? Oh, it's so cool. So that is underneath. Excuse me. How rude. That's underneath the white now. It's really coming out. And that just looks so cool because it's like a shadow. This dark Payne's gray, it's weird. It sort of almost looks like purple, but there is definitely no purple in here. Okay. Crazy cells. Beautiful cells. Wow. Sometimes you would just like to pour and then leave it because it's so darn beautiful right away. And of course it's always sad to stretch cells out. But you have to get rid of some of that paint, you know? This is super cool. I hate to lose that. And man, if you can see that, that's beautiful. Actually, I'm going to try and leave that if I can. If we let it dry, I might be able to peel it off this paper. It's just amazing what happens. Oh, that looks like a wave. I think we're going to have to kind of keep this the way it is. It's amazing what happens with cells when you use that better quality paint. It just always amazes me. And I'm fine with using the artist lofts and the Liquitexes for practice. It's great to be able to sort of be free and easy and learn new methods and things, but oh my gosh, I'm telling you, when you want to start really saving or selling stuff, going with a better quality paint is the way to go. These cells are just so cool. And I'm waiting, not very patiently, I might add, for my Vallejo paints to arrive from Dick Blick. They were supposed to get a small shipment in on the 21st of August, but it doesn't look like anything's on its way to me, which makes me sad because I may actually be waiting now until October, which is such a bummer. Patience isn't really one of my strong suits. All right, I'm loving this. Love, love, love it. Kind of feel like we need a little, we need a couple of little splashes of water or whatever this is. And we're gonna do a little torching and see what happens here. Alright, so pretty. Before I torch, I'm going to use my little airbrush. Apologize for the sound. Oh my gosh, this is selling up like crazy already. I gotta do a little bit of touch-ups here from my drag. I have some bare spots. Oh, can't have that, of course. God, that's not good, especially over here. Darn it, I wish I'd noticed that before I did that. Okay, it's alright. It's all good. All good in the hood, peeps. Alright, let's torchy poo. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I wish we had a little more white in there. I can probably do something about that. One of the things that I've really noticed about these Grumbacher paints, and it's nice, it's awesome, but it's just something that you definitely want to be aware of. The Liquitex, the Golden, the Artist Loft, you know, they change so much. And they continue to change. The Grumbacher, not so much. So sometimes you want it to be exactly, sometimes you want it to be exactly like what you poured because it's so amazing. And then other times you're kind of hoping to see a little bit of a change, and you don't get that a lot with the Grumbacher. It's just such a, I'm afraid I'm going to screw this up. It's such a great quality paint that it doesn't continue to evolve quite like some of the others do. Oops, right on the floor. Are you thinking I screwed it up? We'll see. Stay tuned. Awesome. Oh, isn't that nice? And you always need to know when to stop, when to leave it the heck alone. And I think we're there. Except that. That's not quite right either. So, we can fix that quite easily. A little more of this, I think. My hand didn't exactly go where I thought it was going to go, but that's okay. The fun thing about blowing when you do this type of a pour, a lot of times you can get that you didn't have before, right? It broke up the color. What you have to be careful of, and I'm pushing my own envelope and I know it, is making things muddy. When you push it too far, when you go over it too many times, you can make it muddy. We don't like muddy. And I don't know, you probably can't tell, but I put a little tiny bit of sparkly in because when a wave breaks and the sun hits it, it will glint like a bunch of diamonds. So I wanted to have just the tiniest little bit of sparkles in there. It looks really nice. Perfect amount. It's another thing that's very easy to overdo. Less is more. You can always add some more in. Pretty hard to pick those tiny little holographic glitter out of your painting though. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm happy. I love it. And with that, I'm going to say good evening and go make my husband and my mother their dinner. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.